Welcome to the Backyard Show. I'm Caleb, and my co-host is James. And this week, we've got Chloe Gallardo on the show. We'll talk about her upcoming music, how she writes songs, and Imagine Dragons. So now, let's get into the show. All right, Chloe. Welcome to the backyard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How do you write songs?
Right off the bat. It depends. Like, I just wrote an album during quarantine, and it was all just me. And like, I usually I have to be like emotionally like motivated. Like, I have to have like some type of like intense feeling where I'm like, I need to write about this really badly. And I'll like sit down and like come up with a couple chords, like a chord progression, and like hum like a melody, and then I'll usually just like put all my instruments down and then just like focus on the lyrics and then put it all together like at the end, and usually like it works out. And then I'll work with like a producer to like add more of like a full band sound to it, because I really can only play guitar and that's it. But yeah, that's how I've been writing songs like since high school. Like, I usually will write them all like a song in one day. Like, I can't like go back to it after I start something.
So it's usually like there's like a specific event or like something emotional that affects you.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be like, I'm gonna write a song today. Like, it's never happened like that. I wish it did, but if I'm not feeling an emotion, then nothing good's gonna come out of it.
Did it take a number of years to figure out that that's how you write songs, or that was just always how it was?
It kind of just like happened. I remember I was in like this music production class in high school. It was like an ROP class, and like I had to go to a different school to do it, and they asked, like, I basically had to like record an original song, but it was a production heavy like class, and I didn't understand how to work any of you had to know like Pro Tools and like Logic and stuff, and I was really struggling with it. So I literally just like recorded two things. Like, I recorded myself playing ukulele, and then I put some lyrics over it, and I just submitted it, like, kind of just like, I'm done with this. And that was like my first original song that I like showed anyone, and it went over really well, and it was like part of my first project on my EP. But then since then I was like, oh, that's how I write songs. Like, that's pretty easy.
Which song is that on the EP?
Honeybee.
Honeybee.
Yeah.
So all those songs, those were like the first few batch of songs that you ever wrote?
Yeah, those were like my first, like the first 4 songs that I wrote that I was like, these are like, I'm proud of these, and I actually want to do something with these. And I kind of just like put them out just thinking like my friends and family would like listen to it and be like, hey, like, good job. But kind of like snowballed into more than that, which is cool. And then I started making more stuff after that.
So did you take that class wanting to write songs and record songs, or you took it just for the recording?
I just like, I think I was a junior in high school, and they were like, you have to figure out what you want to do with your life. And I was like, well, I want to do something related to music. And that was like the only music class that I could take. And that I was like, Dad, look, like, I'm doing something with music. Like, I'm taking a class for music. And I didn't love it. Like, it didn't click with me, but it was still like a good experience. Like, I kind of like got familiar with different ways to record, but I'm still like, it didn't really stick.
How do you record now?
I'll like use voice memos on my phone to like get ideas down, and then I usually like I work with someone else like in a studio and more of like a professional setting to like add to it. But yeah, I think like my past releases were all made with like Logic, and I think now I'm working with Pro Tools, but I don't know anything about it.
Do you remember the initial idea that jump started Honeybee?
Kind of. I do this thing where like I'll write songs and I won't really know what I'm writing about until like later when something happens in my life and I'm like, oh, that's what that was about. But that whole EP was just about like some dude that I was dating when I was really young, and he just broke my heart. And so it was like while we were still together, I wrote that song, and it was about how like he didn't really like me, but I didn't know it because I wrote that song like still thinking that he liked me. But then afterwards, I was like, wait, why does this completely apply to like what just happened in this relationship? It's like I like told the future for my own life. But yeah, I think it's just like my subconscious is like, hey, like listen to me. But yeah,
That's funny. That happens with my stuff too. Like I'll just write it. It'll like mean one thing, and then I'll go back and it's like, whoa,
yeah,
that happened like 4 months later or
yeah.
whatever.
It's weird how you know it before you know it.
Has
Music
that
is
happened in
magic.
any other instances?
Almost all of my songs are
Really?
like that. Yeah,
They're all like clairvoyant.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
tight.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I'll get a song down. And I'm like, this is a good song. And I'm like, kind of scared to like learn what this is about in a couple
Oh,
months.
no.
But usually, I mean, now I'm kind of like I can get myself on track to be like, I want this song to be about this. But yeah, my earlier stuff is just me, like a stream of consciousness just happens.
Can you walk us through writing Cutting It Close?
Yeah.
From like the initial first spark of inspiration to...
Cutting It Close, I actually wrote with my old guitarist and producer, and that's probably the most like 50-50 I've worked with someone before, especially with that song. Like I met him like the night before we wrote that, and he like asked me to come over the next day, and he was like, do you want to record a song? And I was like really scared because any other collaboration I had done in the past like never worked out for me. Like I always felt really self-conscious, and like it didn't turn out, like I didn't like perform like my best. And so I was really nervous, and I went over to his place, and he like had like the instrumental track like all done, and he was like, do you think you can like think of a melody and lyrics? And I was like, dude, what? And then he just like kept playing it over and over again, and I just came up with like kind of a melody, and then came up with lyrics like as we literally just listened to the song like over and over and over again for probably like an hour. And it's about like hating yourself and like being like not feeling good enough for like the people around you, and just feeling like everyone else is better than you. But I didn't know it at the time, but I was like we wrote that all in like a night, like the whole song. And that I remember feeling like very proud of myself after that, because I had never like successfully worked with someone before. And it was cool. Like most of the songs that I've put out, like the past 3, I think, were with that dude. And it was very like collaborative, which I think helped me like form my own like sound from that. But yeah, that was kind of the story with that.
Is he so he's playing guitar on that one?
Yeah.
He did all the Did he also play guitar on a 20-fold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and Fool's Keeper.
Do you know anything about his tone, what the secret sauce is, what he was using? Because I really like the guitar tones on those.
I wish I could tell you. I really do, but I have no idea. And it's funny because I'm like working with a new guitarist and producer right now.
Mhm.
And he just asked me the same question the other day, and I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I wish I could ask him, but didn't really end on great terms. So
What how does this relationship with this new producer, how is that what's your workflow like?
It's cool. I like just started working with him. He's in this band called Modern Animal. I don't know if you've heard it. It's like kind of local, but he's also playing guitar for me, and I met him because I needed a new guitarist, and I like put an ad out, and I like kind of just like forced him to be in the band, because like he followed me when I put up the ad, and I was like, oh, I like, because most of the people, like I got like a few followers that were like, they would follow me and then they would send me a message and be like, I want to audition. And so I was like just expecting him to like message me, which was just stupid of me to assume. But I like messaged him first, and I was like, "Hey, like your music is really cool." And he was like, "Your music is cool." And I was like, "Do you want to be in my band?" And he was like, "I'll like come audition." And so he did. He came and auditioned, and my whole band really liked him. And like he produced his own stuff too. And so I was like, "Oh, this is great. Like I can kind of just like start working with like a new person." And then he was like, "Oh, just kidding. I can't. Like I'm recording an album right now and it's like too much workflow for me." And I was like, "No way. Like that sucks."
Yeah.
And so like I kind of like sat with that information for like a bit, and then I texted him and I was like, "Actually, like I'm not going to take no for an answer. Like I think that you should be in this band and like we'll work around your schedule. Like we really liked you." And so then he was like, "Oh yeah, like if you like I'm stoked that you liked me. Like I'm down." And then he like connected me with the studio that I'm recording at now, Jazz Cats in Long Beach. And so he like produced an album through there, and he offered to like help me produce my album now. And it's definitely more like I feel like I know what I'm talking about a little bit more now. So like it's more like inclusive than the last person I worked with, which is cool. I feel
like you know how to communicate ideas better.
Right, yeah. So I feel like it's a more like professional relationship, but also like we just get along really well. So it's like good chemistry, and like very stoked on him.
I guess that kind of leads to a question I had. When I write songs, like when I'm sitting there writing a song, I don't know if you have this moment, but there's a moment where like you can hear the final product or the final song in your head, like the sound of it, the vibe. Do you feel like with your songs, or do you experience that? No? Oh, okay.
I wish I did, because then I could be like, "Oh, I want it to sound exactly like this." But I'm like I know like the feel that I like want, that I'm going for, but I don't know like how to achieve it or like what instruments I need to achieve it. And that's why it's like nice having someone to like be like, "Okay, I want it to like have like a build or something and like be bigger at the end," and then they'll be like, "Oh, cool, I know exactly what to do with it." And then when I hear it, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Like that's what I was going for," but I never know like how to articulate it like properly, which I should work on. But
was the middle part in 20-fold where it's like burn, 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 that like big guitar part,
right?
Was that something that you had written, or was that something that you had to communicate? Like
that was like my old producer. Like he was kind of just in charge of like the lead parts, and so that song, it was funny because like it started off not like that at all. Like it was when I played it live a couple of times before we like worked on it together, and it was very slow and like just kind of like swayy, like nothing big was happening. And then we met up, and he was like, "I think that it should like something should happen like dramatic," and I was like, "Okay." And then he like kind of just pulled that out, and I was like, "Okay." That's cool. But yeah, that I wish that was my idea, but it was not my idea. I can't take credit for it.
Are you guys playing live yet?
Hopefully. I haven't played a live show like since the pandemic, but I played a couple like before. And then I'm recording an album like in October, so like after like in November, I think I'm gonna start like playing more live shows. So
you're going in to record in October?
Yeah.
Can you describe the new music in 3 adjectives?
Angry. It's definitely has more of like an angsty feel to it. I feel. So angsty can be another one. And then I don't know, like revenge. Yeah, I feel like I'm calling out a lot of people in all of the songs.
I like it. Some diss tracks.
Yeah. I mean, arguably all of my songs are diss tracks, but this is like very blatant, like people who have like just really wronged me.
Yeah.
You're like saying the names.
Basically. Yeah.
Like the chorus is
I'm
just like
saying
the
the
name
names without saying the names. Like
no, that's the move.
The person will know.
Yeah, for sure.
Shall we do a segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Are you ready for your segment? All right. So
We got Chris here.
we've got Chris,
I almost
Chloe's
smacked
friend.
myself in the face in the microphone.
So Chris, we're gonna hand it off to you for a segment we're calling Chris's Question. Let's cue up the music that I'm gonna make.
His name is Chris. He has a question. His name is Chris. He has a question. He has a question. And he is Chris.
Do you just play guitar or do you play anything else?
I started playing ukulele, like that was my first instrument, and then switched to guitar, and now I try to stay with guitar because I like nothing against like ukulele girls, but that's like really not the vibe that I'm going for, and I feel like I've been mistaken for that vibe very often, so I try to not touch a ukulele now at all, but that was like my first instrument.
That in high school, were you one of the kids that carried around a ukulele?
No, I was not, but I knew kids like that, and that's like what I'm trying to stay away from. And no offense again, like they just at my school, not the most fun people to be around. I don't know. I don't want to get hate for that.
You're gonna get hate for that.
Yeah.
No offense to all the kids who carry around ukuleles at high school. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get canceled for that.
I was that kid for a little bit.
Oh.
I will be.
Are you
one to-
offended?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I hated myself.
I had a ukulele too.
They're
Oh
honestly,
my god, I'm
it's
so
a,
sorry.
it's such a fun instrument.
It
and
was
it's
fun.
super good to like learn. Like I remember I learned the guitar before ukulele, and then after I played the ukulele and like really kind of got down the ukulele, I went back to the guitar and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this
it's
is like a lot easier.
yeah. I feel like it's a good introductory instrument.
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, like I'm terrible at playing like any instrument. Like I'm not great at all, and so like that was like, oh, I can play this really well, but it's like there's 4 strings.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I had a weird one. I had an electric one, and I brought an amp with me to
Ooh.
school.
oh, that's kind of sick.
It wasn't. It was
Oh.
like it wasn't like not cool, but it was definitely more obnoxious. Like
Right. It's
I'd
louder.
walk it at lunch and just like have like a little like
Was it the
Yeah.
Marshall pocket?
yeah, it's the little
amp?
Marshall pocket amp. Buckled it to my like cargo
Classic.
pants or some shit, and I was just like
oh my god.
like playing like
like
power
Stairway to
chords on my
Heaven.
ukulele, and
Oh my
people
God,
were just like,
power
"The
chords.
fuck?
Hey, respect.
What was going on?"
Everyone needs to go through that phase at least once.
It was good. It was a good time.
I think if I had more confidence in high school, perhaps I could have done.
Oh, I
that.
didn't have the confidence either. I was
Oh.
just going for
You're
it.
just
There
going
was
for
no one
it.
with me.
Yeah.
I remember going to high school with it and being like, oh man, this is going to be sick. And then I remember actually showing up to school. I'm like, oh my God, why did I bring this with me? Just shove it in my locker.
Nah, I'll still play it. I have like all this stuff hung up in my room now, and just to look at. And
Yeah.
every once in a while, when I'm bored, I just be like, play like Stairway to Heaven. No, I'm playing.
Dude, I think since like putting out my first project, because I play ukulele on there, like
Mhm.
it's very apparent. I've been gifted several ukuleles. Like I have more ukuleles than I know what to do with,
Oh,
and
dang.
I just keep them in my closet because I don't want to look at them. But
Take
like
them out of the closet.
I
Yeah.
don't, I
Hang
like
'em up.
feel I don't want to give them away because they were like gifts.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like, this is not me anymore. Like I don't think. Yeah,
You got to take them to the stew next month.
I know. Just play all of them at once, like layered over each other.
That'd be crazy.
What inspired? Because the first album's very acoustic and like ukulele based.
Yeah.
What and everything since then has been more, I guess, electric and
Mm-hmm.
more instrumentation. What inspired that change?
Well, my first project, it was pretty much like just me. Like I played all the instruments on there, and there's not a lot of instruments because I can't play a lot of instruments. And
Mhm.
like, when I started working with an actual person who like knows how to play instruments, I was like, okay, this is like, I can actually achieve the sound that I want to
Yeah.
like create. 'Cause like, I don't like hate my first projects that I put out, but they're just very sparse and very like la la la, like, and I feel like it doesn't fit my personality at all, but that's just like all I knew how
Mhm.
to do. And now I just have more like resources to make things sound the way that I want them to
Yeah,
sound.
yeah.
So
Do you have any more questions, Chris?
so yeah, you only got one question in this segment.
Hey, it was a good one.
It was a good one. It sparked conversation.
what age did you pick up the ukulele and or guitar? Or like when did you first want to like create music? Like were you a kid, teenager?
Dude, you have good questions. You should start a podcast.
I'm not gonna lie, that was one of my questions on here.
Dude, look at me, sorry.
You got it. No, don't say
For him,
sorry.
this is
Now
actually
you
a
saved me
job
some
interview.
time.
Well, both my parents are musicians, so I've always had like instruments around the house. I actually have a picture. It's really funny. From like I think I was probably like 8, and my brother was like 7, and it's my brother has like drumsticks in his hands, and I have a acoustic guitar, and we're like standing in front of a Christmas tree. It was like our Christmas card, but like those are the instruments that he and I both play to this day. So it's been very like music has been very like much present in my life. But I think like the first time I actually was like, I'm gonna teach myself how to play guitar was like, this is honestly so embarrassing. I've told this story before and it's like never gets better, but like before I played guitar would just like sit in my room and like play like karaoke versions of songs and just like sing along to them and like be all like emotional about it. And then I was like, I'm sick of doing this. Like maybe I should be my own band. And so then I taught myself how to play guitar, but I was probably like in 8th grade, like freshman year of high school, something like that. Yeah.
Do you feel like that was actually like as like funny as it is now? Do you feel like that actually like helped you in any way, like in terms
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I feel like I mean, I practiced singing a lot because of that. Like,
Yeah.
I would literally just, like, anytime I was, like, emotional, I would just, like, find, like, a Taylor Swift, like, karaoke track and just, like, sing along to it. But, yeah, I feel like it helped me, like, identify, like, the types of stuff I liked to sing and, like, what I liked to sing about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very cringy, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't do that, I guess.
In addition to Taylor Swift, what else were you singing?
What else was I listening to? I remember. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Actually, I was like really into Alt J.
It's okay.
That's
Like,
not that embarrassing. That's just kind of
everyone, Breeze Blocks was like one of my
I
favorite
literally
songs
did like an
in high
acoustic
school.
cover
It's a
of
good
Breeze
song.
Blocks.
Oh, no way. That's amazing.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, Imagine Dragons. I love.
All right, it was nice having you. You can,
All right, good
Yeah.
night.
Dude.
Honestly, the Alt J one, I don't know. They kind of slapped at this like periodically, like
Yeah.
when I'm assuming when you were listening to it.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
unless
at the
it was
time,
like
it
last
was very
week.
much appropriate. Like, it was
Yeah.
like the Tumblr phase. Like, everyone
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to make a playlist on my Tumblr. And, like, Alt J and Lord were, like, on all of them.
was it like that one, Imagine Dragons, like the clapping one? Like,
was
literally.
Literally all of them. I have, like, I have all of their records, like, to this day. Because I was, like, that was when I started getting into, like, record collecting as well. And I was like, I'm going to buy all the Imagine Dragons records. And I did. And now I'm like, what do I do with them? I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to sell them. That's embarrassing. Like, to
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
them to Amoeba. And they're like, why do you have
They're
them?
like,
Alright,
no,
that'll
thank
be
you.
99 cents.
Yeah, literally. They're like, I'm taking this for like, you have to pay me to bring these in.
So are we not going to get a Chloe Gallardo radioactive cover?
Oh my god, no. But you know what? I was just telling Chris in the car, I was in like the church band at my church. I am not religious anymore. But like that was kind of how I got like into performing, not because I did like musical theater like as a child, but like then it like performing was like through church. I did that, and like I was just like a backup singer, but it was still fun. But the guitar player from that band was very into Imagine Dragons, and like he and I became really good friends. And every time I would go over to his house, we would sing this one. It's called Demons by Imagine Dragons, and we would sing like a duet of it, like so loud and so bad. Like I'm sure his parents like hated it so much, but that was like my go-to song. Like it's just so bad. But yeah, deep cut, you know, Demons, listen to it, it's really good.
You mentioned that you did musical theater, and I imagine, like, I don't really know too much about musical theater, but it's like very
Yeah.
but like your vocal
was it,
style
Caleb?
now,
Wait, how is it?
Wait, one more time.
um, but like it's like that musical theater, and
Right.
but your vocal style now is much more reserved. How did you go about finding your voice and your vocal style?
Well, I always like when I performed, I was the biggest role that I had was like, not to flex, but like I was like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
Hey.
But that's like the closest thing to like my vocal style, like because it's very like she just sings really softly, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's not like a huge like
Yeah.
belty song. And then after that, I was like, why am I not being cast as lead roles anymore? And I was like, oh, it's because I can't sing like that. And then I was kind of like over the acting part of it, because like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be like on Disney Channel, and like I was like gonna sing and act, and then I was like, no, I'm kind of over all of that. And then I stopped doing musical theater and started like listening to like the same music as like my parents and like my dad, and started singing that. And I felt, because my dad is really into like alternative music and like is in an alternative band, and my mom is like a folk singer, and so like I would like sing along to like the stuff they listen to, and I was like, oh, I can sing this way easier.
So what are like some artists that you were listening to, like just around your house, like that your parents were playing a lot?
The Dixie Chicks?
Dixie Chicks.
I guess they're just the Chicks now.
They're just
to be
the
like,
Chicks.
politically correct. But them a lot, and like I listened to a lot of David Bowie, a lot of Prince. Prince is very formative in my childhood. I don't know. There's this. My mom listened to like a lot of folky people that I can't even remember like the names of, but yeah, my Beatles, obviously the Beatles were like a big thing too.
Who's your favorite Beatle?
I don't know if I like any of them. Like they're cool.
George isn't
Okay,
bad. You can't
George
go
is-
wrong with George.
George is fine. Yeah, yeah. I feel like they all have their issues, but like yeah, George is fine. But yeah, the more I listen to like rock music, are you getting bit by mosquitoes?
I think I've got bit by one.
The more I listen to rock music, I was like, I like singing this a lot more than musical theater stuff, and so I kept at that
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of the musical theater.
What do you think do you pull anything from like David Bowie in your own music?
Probably, but like I have. Sorry, I'm just very distracted by the bug spray. I think like his like drive and like his passion, like I've always admired a lot, and just like his like full like creative expression, like he's not afraid to like do something different, which I'm not doing anything that different, don't get me wrong, but like I admire like his like drive for that, and I feel like that will always kind of stick with me.
Some kids yelling in the
There's some kids
distance.
screaming.
But yeah, I don't know, like definitely I don't think like any like musical style has
Yeah.
been like taken from him, but just like him as a person, I think he's like a cool guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know.
Who are like some musicians that inspire you now, today?
That's a great question. I really like this band Slow Pulp.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
I'm not sure if I have.
They're cool. They, I guess they're like kind of newer. They're playing in LA next month. Oh, Men I Trust. That was like a huge. You can definitely tell in like my past releases that they're like a huge inspiration. As far as like my new like stuff that's coming out, I feel like it's a little like grungier. I started listening to. I don't want to like say who I've been listening to because it's like
you don't have to
It's
give
revealing.
all the sauce away if you don't want to. I was just wondering like what music you like now.
what music do I like now?
Yeah, like
I've been listening to a lot of Baxter Dury recently. I don't know if you know who that is. It's like synth pop, like it kind of yeah. I'm listening to a lot of Crack Cloud too. Like I'm going through like a post-punk phase.
Nice.
But you're cringing at me because of that.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Chris is in a
Do you feel like
punky
that's like
band.
any of the things that you're listening to right now, or like the phases of music you go through, like impact your music directly when you're making it?
I think so. I feel like the stuff that I've been writing recently is a lot like heavier, like not. It's just not. It's definitely like a polar opposite from like my original releases. More like emotional and like I don't know, like I said, angry.
Yeah. Is that conscious? Like you set out to make heavier music, or just
I don't
that's
think
just what
it just
happened?
like kind of happened,
Yeah.
especially from like this past year. Like, just have a lot,
Mhm.
a lot of pent up emotions that I'm like, I have to do something. With
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I'm like moving away from like the indie pop phase of my life.
So are you writing on acoustic guitar or electric guitar?
I have this nylon string acoustic that I've been really liking the sound of, and I've written most of my songs on it. But sometimes I'll like pick up my electric guitar, but like usually it's like there's no point because I don't really have a lot of like pedals and like I don't know. I might as well just use an acoustic guitar at that point. Also, I hate being loud. Like, especially I live with my parents right now. And before I was living with like roommates, and I think one of the reasons I sing really quiet also is because like I don't want people to hear me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually play like as quiet as possible. So electric guitar is like out of the question for me if I'm writing a song because it could sound bad and then someone's just listening to like a shitty song.
Do you think like as you approach recording in the studio, you're gonna like explore a little bit more, like playing like louder, singing louder, maybe? I don't know.
I scream in one of the songs.
Hey.
Ooh.
Yeah, so yes, yeah, it's definitely getting noisier.
So do you write all the songs at your house, or do you ever go, I don't know, outside?
It's mostly like at my house at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you feel most
Yeah.
inspired.
Or like if I like just cried or something, I'm like, gotta write this down. But yeah, I don't think I've ever written a song like outside of my house unless I was like at my producer's house, like writing with him. But it's usually like I feel more like comfortable in my own little world doing it.
Are you doing it analog, like handwritten into a notebook, or is it all like
I do both.
typing?
I have like this fear that I'm gonna lose everything. So like I'll like type it out on my computer because I can get it out like faster, like my whatever's in my head, and then right after I like type it out, I make sure that's also on my phone, and then I will also write it down because I'm like something could happen to my computer and something could also happen to my phone, and then I could lose this notebook, and so I have songs all over the place like throughout my life.
Yeah.
But
So are you recording the idea on your phone, like voice memo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, usually like I'll like think of like a melody or something, and I'll like hum it or like sing it really like bad into my phone just so I like, because I forget things so easily too. Like there's been so many times where I'll be like, I can remember this while I'm writing something, and then I completely don't remember it, and I'm like, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Like I'm never getting that back, so I'm fucked. But yeah, it's can I cuss?
Yeah,
also?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm like sorry.
We like the first few episodes we were bleeping it out, and then there was one where it was just like every few words were bleeps. And I was like, this is too much work. I'm not gonna
I know.
bleep
I was
every
like,
word.
I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, cuss all you want.
Cool.
He only bleeps my cuss words because my grandma listens.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Respect.
Say-
You don't
say a
want to
cuss
offend
word.
grandma.
Fuck.
I'm gonna leave that one in. But
No, but what were you saying? You said you lost songs in your head.
Oh yeah, like I just have a lot of lost trains of thought from not recording things. So now what I do, which has helped me tremendously, is just like press record on my phone and just write a song and
Oh, wow.
just leave it.
so you'll have like multiple just 40-minute
Yeah,
sessions recorded.
maybe not 40 minutes, but maybe like 10, 15. And
Damn, you're busting out songs in 10 minutes?
well, then like I'll like have the idea and I'll play
Yeah,
it a few times, and then I can like stop and then re-record it, but I'll always like keep it until I have like the final product of the song that I want, and then I'll like go through and delete all like the drafts. Sometimes I'll like stumble upon the drafts and they're just really funny because I'm like, mumbling something that doesn't make sense, or like I always will try to describe like the chord that I'm playing, because I don't know what they're called. Like I just play something and it sounds cool, and I'll always just be like, oh, it looks like a C, but it's not a C. Like my finger's different, just so I can like remember how to play my own song. And if I don't write it down or don't say it into my phone, like I have to just like send it to someone who knows how to play guitar and be like, how do I play this? Like I know I wrote this like a day ago, but I don't remember how to play it, and it's really embarrassing.
So when you're sitting down to write a song, it's just all, you're not recalling any past ideas, any past lyrics or anything. It's just all just fresh every time you sit down.
Usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you like take down notes like throughout the day? Any ideas that come to you? Any lyrics or things you hear?
I like writing poetry a lot, and like I'll just jot down like random sentences that pop into my head here and there, but I don't always use them. Like sometimes if I'm like stuck on like, oh, I want something to sound better here, like in this song that I'm writing, like I'll go look through like past poems that I've written, or like even just like scrolling through, like I have a bunch of poetry books, and like that's really inspirational to me. Like I think it's like I don't rip anyone off, but like I'll like see a word in a poem and I'm like, oh, I can go with that. And it kind of sometimes it like changes the whole like meaning of the song, which I think is like a cool aspect. But yeah, usually it's just like I sit down and I like, if I have something to say, like I'll say it and it'll come out, and then like I can go back and like touch up things that I don't like sound awkward or something. But
Is there an example of a word that you read that you wrote a song about or included it into a song?
That's a great question. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I like have this like Emily Dickinson like poetry book that she just writes about like dark shit, and I really love it. And so like a lot of the times like she talks a lot about like death and like blood, and usually like that's like a huge like theme in the album I'm recording now. Is like I say blood a lot, which is like kind of concerning, but like it was definitely from like that book, because she was just like talking like a lot of dark topics, and I'm taking a dark turn apparently. So
So we've got a segment on the show called Dream Gear, and basically if you've been desiring any guitar pedals, guitar, microphone, anything musical gear, equipment related, maybe you can give us 3. We'll cue up the Dream Gear music right now.
It's time for Dream Gear.
dude, I like wish I had like a good answer, but like I really wanted a nylon string, and then I got it. Like they're only like $100, and so I feel like I have my dream guitar. I got it with my stimulus check.
Ooh.
No, it
What are you rocking?
like
What's the guitar?
it's a Telecaster Fender. God, it's like all black. I forget the name of it. I'm a fake musician. I don't know. But I also got like a new pedal recently for my birthday that I really like. It's an earthquake pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a overdrive.
Okay.
Yeah, which like I'm just trying to get like a crunchier like guitar sound when I do play with electric guitars. So that one, I'm stoked on that one. But usually like I'm such like an impulsive person. Like if I want like gear, I will get it. I don't care if I have money or not. Like I will find a way to get it. And then I'm like, okay, well now I don't want anything anymore because I have it.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably should stop doing that.
Dream Gear.
Dream Gear.
If you could collaborate with any artist in the whole entire world and stuff,
Who would it be?
who would it be?
Huh. I feel like I have an answer to this like when I'm like listening to that artist, but now that you've asked me, like drawing a complete blank. I mean Phoebe Bridgers, like obviously everyone would like die to like collab with her. I don't know. I feel like it would be like the band Tennis, do you know them?
Mhm.
Yes.
They like do a lot of like production work for other artists. I feel like it would be cool to work with them, just because I like the stuff that they make. But also Alexandra Savior is cool. Any like female, like strong female, I would like love to collaborate with.
You got any more questions, James?
I
Alright,
have
let's-
I have one more if I could end my segment.
Let's do it. All right, Chris's question.
Final, because now I'm like I've got him, so I'm like
You were thinking of him this whole time.
yeah. Dream venue to play and or country, state, or both. Like, you have any venue in the entire world that you've ever wanted to step foot on the stage, what would it be?
I want to play like in Paris, like a tiny venue in Paris.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, because I saw a band that is canceled, so I'm not going to say who it was, but I saw a band play. My stomach is growling really loud, by the way. I hope you can't hear it.
I can't.
I
the
think
microphone's picking it all up.
I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, I saw this band play in Paris because I studied abroad for a bit, and I traveled to Paris for a weekend, and I bought tickets to like this band, and it was a really small venue, but it was really cool. It was, I don't remember the name of it, but it was near like Montmartre, like that hill. I'm butchering that. Like, that is not how you say that at all.
Say it with a French accent.
No way.
I'll say it with a French accent. What is it called again?
Dude, I don't even know if
I'll
said the
dub
right
it
name.
over.
Montmartre.
Montmartre. Okay, I'll dub over the Siri pronouncing it correctly.
Please.
Montmartre.
But yeah, it's like a venue like right at the bottom of like that hill, and it's like, it was super super small. There's like, I don't know, it was just cool, like almost like Constellation Room vibes, but like way cooler because
Mhm.
that's
It's in
Constellation Room,
France.
it's not that cool. But yeah, it was just like the whole experience. I mean, Paris is great.
Yeah.
Love it. But yeah, I would love to like go on like a European tour and do
Nice.
that whole thing. Good question, Chris.
Thanks. Good answer.
Thanks.
Well, let's conclude with where do you see yourself in? Where do you see the musical project Chloe Gallardo in 3 years?
3 years. Hopefully somewhat successful, like more successful than I am now. Obviously that's like a good goal for myself. But I really want to like get signed to a label, and I want to go on like tour. Like, those are like my two things that I feel like could be attainable within the next 3 years. But that's like what I've wanted to do for a really long time. But yeah, hopefully with this album like comes a label. That's like the goal for me.
Nice.
very cool.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This was fun.
You can listen to Chloe's music wherever you stream music, and go to our website, www.thebackyardshowpodcast.com, to check out a playlist she curated just for you. Thank you for listening. This has been The Backyard Show.